I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a comedy legend here today, Tom Padovano. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I feel like a woodpecker in a lumber yard. That's how I feel.
Good.
Yeah, I'm giddy. I'm giddy because you are a comedy legend.
I never been called that, but I'll take it. Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
so. I think so. When people hear your whole story, I wrote a lot of stuff down. Tom, first off, you're in New York.
I am, yes.
Were you born and raised in New York?
Yeah, born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, yes. So I've been here all
Okay.
my life. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
hmm
But I imagine you've toured all over the US.
I've been in different places around the United States,
Okay.
and I've written for a lot of people. So that I've gone to
Right.
where they live, to help with them with their act.
Right. Yeah, I have some of that written down. We'll get into that in a minute. It's tomcomedy.com is your website, and that lists all your tour dates and all your accolades. Tom, you've done a lot of stuff.
I have, yes, yes.
You
And
really
it's
have.
fun.
Let's
Yes.
let's go back to the beginning, if it's all right, Tom. When did you start doing comedy?
Well, I actually started by taking a class on comedy writing back in 1979 at
Okay.
at a place called the New School for Social Research in New York City. Uh, and from there, somebody told me they found out Phyllis Diller by his jokes.
Right, right.
So
I have that written down because you wrote jokes for a lot of people.
yeah, yeah. So I started to write for it. Then I found out about Joan Rivers, and I slowly found out about other people that were interested in buying material.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
Then
was 1979, and you just started writing jokes for people.
yes, yes.
Okay. And how long did you do that, Tom?
Well, I did that for about 5 years. Well, actually, I kept doing it. But then in 1984, I took a class, comedy writing and performing, which would
Right.
force me to get on stage, which I was always too nervous to try to do.
Okay.
I did that. And then I started doing the open mics and still selling jokes to other comedians.
Sure, sure. So when when you started performing live, what was your first show like?
Nerve wracking. I even remember I was wearing, this was like in the 80s, Jordache jeans and a purple button down shirt.
Right?
Everybody else on the show were first timers too. So it was very exciting.
Yeah. And let me ask you this because I've done quite a few of these and I've had people say they peed their pants or they got sick. Was that like that for you the first time?
No, not, I was nervous, but my bowels were fine, thankfully. Uh, but I think it helped that it was a show with all other people, just about all other people performing for the first time. It wasn't like they were throwing me on a primetime show.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess the next question is then you just kept performing on stage?
I would do it every once in a while. I was still more into writing for other people. I would do open mics here and there, but more of my time was taken up for writing for the other comedians at that point in time.
Right. And you wrote two joke books?
Yeah, I went to a ventriloquist convention, which happens
There's a
every year.
joke right there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. So in Kentucky, right over the Ohio port, right by the Cincinnati airport.
I've been there. I've been there.
Oh, you know that. Okay.
Yeah, I do know it.
Okay.
You go
Yes.
across the bridge, you go across the bridge and you're in Kentucky.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. And it's right by the airport otherwise. And
Yeah, I've
so
been there.
I wrote a couple of joke books for ventriloquists. And, I like rented a table at the convention. Every July, they have this convention there.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, Jeff Dunham has been to every one except one since he's like 9 years old.
No lie.
Is that something? Yeah. So it would be funny. Like sometimes people would carry around their ventriloquist figure,
Right, right.
and they would talk to me through the dummies, like, "Oh, jokes? Can I have some jokes? Some jokes. You know, and like an idiot, I'm talking straight to the dummy, not to the guy. But it was
That's
fun.
funny.
Yeah, and so I
Yeah.
sold joke books and gave out my card and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you've been hustling for years, and I guess the progression of things to now, are you performing more? Because I looked at your tour dates, you pretty much are booked all through the summer.
Yeah, now I'm more into the performing than the selling jokes. I'm still into selling, but you know what? To be honest, the people I used to sell to were all gone.
Yeah,
That was
no,
like,
I have a whole list, and I want to save it for a little bit because I one of them, and I'll give a little bit up here, was Rodney Dangerfield.
yes, yes.
And I actually met Rodney. I have a story about that.
Oh, I'd like to hear that. That's
I,
good.
I will at the end. In other words, like you, I'm a big fan of comedy ever
Mhm,
since I was little. And I've been blessed to meet Lewis Black, Stephen
mhm.
Wright. I had a conversation with George Carlin. And I'm just a big fan of comedy.
Right. Well, me too. Yeah. So like I said, a lot of those people are gone, and people of that generation that would buy jokes are gone or not doing comedy anymore. So I said, well, let me get out there a bit, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Well, I have written down here, it says doing clean comedy for 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, probably even longer if
Right.
think about the open mics and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's why I called you a comedy legend. Well, not only
That
that, when you look at Tom Dreesen, Phyllis Diller, Dangerfield, Joan Rivers, man, that's a class, and they were buying jokes from you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
That's
fun.
wild.
It would be nice to hear them do my jokes. And then I got a chance to meet Joan Rivers backstage at Carnegie Hall after she performed. That was a big thrill for me.
I'll bet. I'll bet. What was she like?
She was great. She was kidding around. So I go backstage and I was really nervous, right?
Yeah.
So uh they introduced me to her because she never met me before. And she yelled at me, "What are you doing here?" I said, and I was nervous. I go, "What?" She goes, "What are you doing here? Go home and write me more jokes." And then she
That's
left.
funny.
Yeah. And then she goes, "Is your mom still alive?" I go, "Yeah." And she gave me a big blue bouquet of flowers to bring to my mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
that's a great story, Tom.
yeah.
Did you
That,
ever did you ever get to meet Rodney?
I never did.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
met
I've
Tom.
got quite a few stories about Rodney.
Ah,
So- And my particular personal, because I knew a fellow that knew the guy that ran sound for Rodney, and when he would get drunk, and he had
mm,
these tapes of when Rodney was drunk and was just terrible.
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
later on in his career.
Mm.
But so you also do teacher writing and performance discovery center in New York.
That was back then. I don't do it now.
Okay,
But I have done that.
right.
And sometimes with some comedians, what I've done one-on-one hourly sessions where they'll pay
Okay.
me per hour, and then whatever we come up with, they keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do you find today, and that's because I get a lot. I'm more the old style. I grew up on Henny Youngman and Rodney and the old style one-liner jokes.
Mhm.
And today, I I find it more the slapstick, or let's do videos of stuff and it to me it's not funny.
Yeah, I know. I guess it's a way to get in there because sometimes what clubs will do, they'll book somebody that has a lot of hits on YouTube or whatever, and they get bigger crowds sometimes than a semi-known name.
Right.
Uh, because now it's the whole thing with the big going viral and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
And I
right.
just I don't have a lot of. I did one of these yesterday, and I was talking about the couple on YouTube who all they do is play comedian stuff.
Hmm.
In other words, they'll play an old Rodney Dangerfield clip, and the girl will sit there and laugh. And to me, that takes no talent at all, none.
I agree with you.
And I almost wish that they would get sued by Jerry Seinfeld and every comedian out there that again, you're just ripping off their material.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
meanwhile, they have, oh my God, they're collecting money each month from Google / YouTube.
Mm.
Every one of their videos has 70,000, 80,000 views. And
Wow.
it makes me ill. It makes because I'm just slugging it out. I'm just trying to do joke after joke after joke after joke. I
Mm.
have what 5,700 videos up.
Mm.
My
Wow.
brother always says, he says, why don't you just go back and do, go back and do the old stuff you got in the can,
Right, right, right.
but it's, and also, and you probably don't face this, but I call it the joke police. You rip that joke off. My God, that joke is like older than you are, kid. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's the truth. Like some people like say about me, oh, like the one-liner king, or he's got thousands. Because I'm kind of like the one-liner joke,
Yeah.
and some people have said, boy, that's kind of an old-fashioned style, and I say, yeah, you're right, but that's me.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Yeah.
61 years old, and I'm not gonna do TikTok. TikTok actually offered me to come and do minute videos for them, and I turned them down.
Wow. Would they
Just
have paid
because
that?
my thing is China, the spy balloon, COVID. I don't want to do anything to do with China.
Was on TikTok. I went off it because of the whole China thing. I
Yeah, me
said
too.
I don't need to be on there. I mean, I'm not trusting them.
No, me neither. I'm glad that I brought it up because and I was flattered. And
Yeah.
Tom, I got to tell you, I thought it was one of those spam emails or some junk.
Hmm.
And I forwarded it to another guy, and he said, "No, Scotty, it's legit." He said, "I don't qualify because I don't have 10,000 subscribers." And
Right.
that's when I realized. I said, "Wow, they really do want me to come and do it." But like you, China, no thanks, no
No
thanks.
thanks. Good for
Yeah, I'll
you.
pass.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, and believe me, there was a point there, Tom, where I thought, wow, I mean, I was flattered,
Hmm.
but
Sure.
then I thought, no, what cost? You're taking money. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Good for you. You stood on your principle, and I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
If I took away the app, I don't want to be bothered with it.
yeah. Good for you, Tom. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk more. Like, for instance, I'm just curious, what are some of, if you don't mind, go through some of your jokes that you've written that you feel are some of your favorites. Can you
Well,
do
yeah, like a Rodney joke was my father got me a job in a bowling alley as a pin.
that? Keep
A
going.
Joan Rivers joke was when I was born after the nurse slapped me, the doctor smacked me too. Something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remember the Heidi Abramowitz joke she used to do?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Heidi Abramowitz is the official slut of the 1984 Olympics. That's how
Right,
far back you go back. So in some ways, I try not to have favorite jokes because I always have to keep producing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
sure.
rest on my. I gotta now. Of course, when I do my routine, I do stuff I've been doing for a while, but I also will try to mix in new stuff because you want
Right.
to expand the time you're able to do.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
in these days, in other words, I look back, I've been doing this for 4.5 years. And, I used to do, you know, say LGBTQRSTUVWXY. No. I used to do some of those trans jokes and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And now I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't do any of those jokes.
Right. I wouldn't either.
You almost have to adapt to the climate,
Yeah.
and I've never done, and this is just a joke, Tom, okay? I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to be silly for a second.
Mhm.
Like I say, I don't do any Jewish, Nazi, Hitler, Holocaust jokes. I don't do any race. My sister's married to a black man. I don't do any kind of that, but I love a good rape joke.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Tom. I'm
yeah.
kidding.
Okay.
I'm just, I knew I'd get a kick out of. No, because doing, and I can't lie. I mean, I have a ton of really dark, edgy jokes, which I love.
Mhm.
But boy, I will, when I do one of those, my subscriber count goes down by a few hundred because it's like, we don't want that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, you got to do what you feel you're comfortable with too. You know,
Right.
uh, there's certain areas maybe I could go into where I get good laughs, but I'm not comfortable with what I'm saying, so I don't do it.
Yeah, no, that's, you probably heard of her, Kathy Ladman.
Yeah.
Kathy actually gave me that advice probably 2, 3 years ago.
Mm,
She was going to come on the show. She never did it. I still would love for her to come on.
mhm.
But Kathy said to me, I sent her something and she said, man, that's crazy. And I said, do you have any advice for me? And she said, Scott, just be true to you.
Yeah.
Do what you, and when I say that, and it was poor joke, I probably shouldn't have done it. I hope I didn't offend you saying I love a good rape joke.
No,
I
I know you.
don't think I've ever done a rape joke. I mean, I joke
Mhm,
about it, but I wouldn't do, it's like I said, now I just did one with a young lady the other day who's Jewish. And
mhm.
she started doing some Jewish jokes. And I said, boy, I said, I can't. She goes, well, I'm Jewish. And I said, okay, but
Right.
that's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope, yeah. But then again, some people are very sensitive these days too.
Oh my God. Oh my
With
God. Do you think, Tom? Do you think?
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Uh, People get so offended so easily at times.
Do you have favorite comedians these days, Tom?
Uh, well, because he's in a way different than Mike Birbiglia is good.
Okay.
Steve,
Yeah, I know him.
yeah, Stephen Wright with his
Love Steven.
uh, let me see who else. Um, there's a guy Danny Dici in San Francisco.
Okay.
He's quite funny with his lines. So you know, various people, various people. How about you?
I'm not a big fan of I guess because I'm doing it myself. I'm one of those guys, I'll put on a special and I'll watch a few minutes.
Mhm.
And if they don't burn right away, I want to change it.
Right.
And part of that, Tom, you don't know, I worked in the music business before I did this.
Oh,
And in the music business, you have 3 minutes. You better burn. The song better be catchy.
yeah.
And comedians today, uh, and I'm not going to lump them all together, but it's a lot of, well, I went to the supermarket the other day and I said to this lady, and by the time they get to whatever kind of punchline they're getting, I'm already,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Some people go say you better get a laugh like every 15 seconds because attention spans wander.
Yeah. Well, I
Mhm.
think comedy's changed a lot from when, you and I were younger, say the George Carlins or the Steve Martins and the, Rodney Dangerfields, the Henny Youngmans.
Mhm.
Um, Now, and you brought up Stephen Wright, and the thing I love about Stephen Wright is his stuff is so well written and so well crafted.
Yes.
That every line, I saw him with my son in Vegas, and my son just sat there. My son was like, that was just amazing
Yes.
because every word that comes out of his mouth is measured, and the pause and
Mhm.
his deadpan approach.
I know. I know. Which just shows there's so many different styles of comedy,
Yeah.
and that might not work for somebody else. They're very hyper and smiley, but for him, this works. Just great lines.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm feeling kind of hyper.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Let's see now. Do you have a couple more one-liners you want to throw out there for us?
Well, did you know that we had an earthquake here in New York?
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I was just the other day
Yeah, which
or
shows that
yesterday.
yeah, yesterday, which shows that every family should have an emergency plan. Like in my family, my responsibility is screaming. See, there you go.
Did did
So
you
that's what it is.
did you scream yesterday?
No, I was actually pretty calm through it. I guess my main concern was how's my hair.
That's
You know,
funny.
thank
And
you.
back when you were in school, you made an ashtray.
Yeah, I did. Only thing about it is it was made out of wood. So
It was a flammable ashtray.
yeah, flammable ashtray. That was sad.
Yeah.
I made a wallet that was sewn shut on every side. Oh,
What else
then I
did
remember.
you do, Tom?
Yeah, then I remember I made a birdhouse that didn't have an entrance. Poor birds just looking all day. It was sad.
Yeah, but Tom, you're killing me. I love it. What else you
And
got?
well, you know, I said to my girlfriend, "Have you cheated on me?" She said, "Oh, you're the fifth guy to ask me that today."
Yeah,
It's not easy out there.
yeah, no, and I tell you, Tom, see, that's why I love one-liners. I love jokes that, and again, I don't want to offend you, but like I did one, and it's an old joke. I mean, you probably heard it a million times, but why did
Mhm.
the little boy drop his ice cream cone?
I don't know.
He got hit by a truck.
Ah,
See, I love a friend of mine says, Scotty, and he says when I read them, or if I'm reading jokes, I actually read them in Scotty T's voice because, and he says that when he's read or like if he's watching one of my jokes, he'll go, "What did he just say?" You
yeah,
know, and it's like another one that's like that is something along the lines of what does an elephant and a mouse have in common?
I don't know.
Neither one can ride a bike. Just stupid, so
Yeah,
absurd
yeah.
that you go, what did he just say? Those are my
Right.
favorite. I
Yeah,
love, it doesn't have to be um, Stephen Wright level. And there's a thing now, and you probably know anti-jokes where they're not even like that with the bike. It's
right.
not even doesn't have anything to do with an elephant or a mouse.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
we
jokes.
thought to get Stephen Wright's type of jokes because he's so good.
Yeah. I don't think there's another comedian. I don't think there's a better comedian than Steve. But now you do clean comedy. Do you watch someone like Lewis Black?
I don't. I don't watch so much. I watch like the guys I like, and I don't go out to the clubs too much to watch other people. My attitude is I want to be the performer, you
Right,
know. So I
right.
don't watch as I used to. But Mitch Hedberg, who also has great lines. I'll
Yeah.
watch some of his videos on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Not so much as going out, but like, comedians that, like Mitch Hedberg, you mentioned him. Boy, he was very funny.
Very funny. My goodness. I mean, this whole kind of like a happy hippie with those
Yeah,
lines and all, real,
yeah,
really good. Really good.
yeah.
Martin is good, in my opinion.
Steve Martin?
Dimitri Martin.
Oh, Dimitri Martin. Yeah, I know Dimitri Martin. I'm familiar with him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no,
He's
I
a
mean, again, I've never met him, but I know, and I think it's that style that you and I, that's kind of where I'm at.
right, right. Well, there are a lot of very good comedians out there, people we never heard of, but they're working out there and all. Of course, the field is so crowded, though, also.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, we mentioned TikTok, but
Hmm.
Instagram's the same way, where
Mm,
it's, little clips and it's more set up, and this and that, and there's not even really a punchline. It's
right.
somebody, getting run over by a, or sight gag stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it
I
just,
know.
I don't have any time for that.
Right, right.
I
But
would sooner I would sooner do my little elephant and mouse joke or,
yeah,
just I like, and it's funny because like, and it's what you probably wrote, you know, and again, people say, oh, you stole that mic. Oh, that joke's been around forever.
Mhm.
You know, what are twins' favorite fruit?
I don't know.
Pears. You know,
Ah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? I love
yeah,
it kind of
yeah,
Stephen Wright style where I can't believe he just said that, you know.
exactly.
Those are my favorite jokes.
Good, good.
Well, I wanted to tell you my Rodney Dangerfield story, but I want to make sure, Tom, that we've covered everything. I know that you sometimes wear socks that match. Is that true?
Sometimes I get a little crazy that way.
You have another pair. You have another pair in the drawer just like it.
Yeah, well, somebody separate drawers because they fight.
They fight.
Yeah, yeah. It's because at least one of them's a heel. You know, uh, it's tough. You know, but then it's
Keep
hard to
going.
find matching ones. Anyhow, I put them in separate drawers. It's my fault.
You are comedy gold, my friend.
Oh,
You are
thank you,
comedy gold. I love you.
thank
You
you.
keep going. I'm not going to stop. It's your comedy minute. You keep going. Do as many as you want.
Oh yeah, you know it's funny. My dog loves to chew on old smelly socks, but I wish he'd wait till I took them off. It's terrible. Now, my mom was a clean freak, and she used to have a Dalmatian named Spot. But within 1 week, he became spotless. She cleaned everything. It was amazing, you know.
What's the worst name for a maid?
Yeah, right. And
No, what's the word? Hey, Tom, what's the worst name for a maid?
I don't know.
Dusty.
Ah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the other day I was playing fetch with my dog, and I got so exhausted because wow, can my dog throw a stick? She had me running all over the place. Ah, it's tough.
Hey, do you really have a dog, Tom?
I do. She
Okay.
part beagle, wonderful dog.
I love it.
Yeah.
Beagles are my favorite. I had two of them.
Did you? Yeah, we had a pure breed before this. This one we think is a mix of a foxhound and a beagle because she's big, and
Okay.
not that big.
Well, I had two beagles. I had Snoop and I had Hope
Ah,
Hope. And I didn't realize there until someone that had beagles in the area, they would walk and Snoop was small and
mhm.
Hope Hope was bigger. And they said that there are two different size beagles, a 13 and a
Yeah,
15 or something.
exactly. If you like watch the Westminster Dog Show, there's the two different categories, like you said, the
Is there?
13 15 inch.
Yeah, I love dogs. I love dogs. But man, I didn't mean to interrupt you because you were just you that whole sock bit, God, that was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you know, I do have a thing for socks. You know, I do wear them to sleep and all that. Though, you know, it does. You know, it's much better. I found out for me sleeping when I put my socks on my feet and not in my mouth. You know, it just works out for me. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But or maybe in your wife's mouth.
Well. Yeah. Well, a
I
lot of
tell
times
you, I tell you, it's rough. My wife.
it's rough out there. I'm telling you, it's rough out there.
My
I was going
God.
out with a big woman when she wore high heels. She struck oil.
Yeah. Well, I want to do my Rodney Dangerfield story just to tell you, and then I
Yes.
want you to do your comedy minute. Um,
Okay.
because I promised I would tell you, and it's a true story. It's one thing, I got thumped by my father for lying early on.
Mhm.
So I don't lie. I tell the truth, pretty much. Afraid Pop will come back from the grave and beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Um, I worked for RCA Records, and we were in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Hilton, and there were all kinds. Jay Leno was there, Richard Gere, and I'm a kid from York, Pennsylvania, and I'm like, wow, even though I worked in the music business, I was, real starstruck, and I
Mhm.
saw Rodney Dangerfield, and me loving comedy, he had two young blondes, like 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old blondes. Hey, fellas, how you doing? How you doing?
Mhm.
So I walked up to him and I said, Rodney, Ronnie, can I get a picture? No pictures, fellas, no pictures. Okay, all right. He kind of, snapped at me.
Wow.
So I backed up and he said, come here, I'll tell you a joke instead. I said, all right, what's the joke? He said, the other night, I'm walking down the road, guy's walking his dog. Dog starts licking himself. I said, man, oh man, if I could do that, he said, well, pet him, maybe I'll let you. And that was Rodney's joke. And then he proceeded to ask me if I had any weed.
Huh.
And Tom, that's where I'm going to stop the story.
Yeah, I did hear he had a drug problem. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, he asked me if I had any weed. And Tom, I'm going to be honest, I did have weed, but he wouldn't take a picture with me, so the hell with him.
There you go.
No.
There you
I tell
Wow.
you.
It's interesting, isn't it? Huh.
No, he did. I understand near the end he had a real bad drug problem.
Yeah.
But as I told you, Tom, this is called Your Comedy Minute. And I don't know if because I tell people this and they go, well, I don't know what you're asking me. Just something, I don't care what it is.
Okay.
Something, one, and it doesn't even have to be one. If you got a couple of them, of your favorite comedy minutes or something that happened or jokes or whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I was talking to this woman that said she wants to date 10 men at the same time. I said, I'm not into that. I'm monotonous. Told her off. So it's not easy. I'm not sure if this woman said I was a breath of fresh air or needed a breath freshener. But I'm lonely. My favorite card game, Texas Hold Myself. Sometimes I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken just to hear them say breast or thighs.
Yeah.
I'll put Vicks Vapor Rub all over my body, trying to meet women with asthma. I have this tough uncle, my Uncle Chooch. Now, he comes from the old country. And when he came to America and saw the Statue of Liberty, he cried. It was the first woman he ever saw with shaved underarms. And he comes from a poor family. So do I. But every night, my mother had food on the table. I wish we had plates. I was 7. I said, Mom, was I adopted? I'm still working on it. Oh, then I remember once I said, Mommy, I wanted a toy truck for my birthday. I didn't get one. I'm upset. She goes, stop it. You just turned 50. So there you go.
Is that my comedy minute?
There's your comedy minute. Yes.
Oh my God, that was great, Tom. You are just a comedy legend. Like I said, I'll stand by comedy legend.
I'll take it. Thank you. It's a very nice compliment. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm trying to say this because I feel this way about myself. We're a dying breed.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but kids today want that TikTok, hey, and that's just not me. It's never going to be me. I say a lot of times it's about what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of my friends will say, "Oh, Scotty, your facial reaction when I give a look, that has a lot to do with it, and that timing and that pause,
Yeah.
all of it, it's wasted on kids today.
I know. Look, I'm old fashioned. Like I'm not on Instagram. I'm on Telegram.
My buddy thought Instagram was a cocaine delivery service.
I am on Instagram though. Yeah.
No, I know. I saw it. I actually added you up.
Yes. Good. Yes, you did. I'm
glad. I actually had a joke. I don't want to offend you. I'll do it for you. Do you want me to do it or not?
It's up to you. If you're comfortable,
I'll do it. I'll do it. Just because I said I don't do racial humor.
Okay.
But yet this joke on Instagram, in other words, on Instagram, I had a couple hundred followers. I don't really, again, doesn't mean it. None of it means anything to me. None of that social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden one day my phone started going off like crazy. Like, what's going on? And a joke I had put up 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden, people were forwarding it. And the joke is, if I had a nickel for every racist thing I ever said,
Mm.
some Mexican would probably rob me.
Ah,
And now again, other than the cartels that started showing up in front of my house,
mhm.
it was pretty good.
Oh boy. Well, be careful out there.
Chico and Escobar, the Escobar family was after me. But no, I mean,
Oh,
I always stand by Tom, and I don't need to tell you, you've been doing it 25, but funny's funny.
funny's funny.
Like Don Rickles. We didn't even touch on Don Rickles. But Don Rickles made a whole living. He was 80 years old plus, and insulting people and Jews, and he went after everybody.
Everybody.
It's
Yeah,
like Archie Bunker. I loved Archie Bunker. I grew up on Archie Bunker.
right.
Oh, Jesus, there, read it there. Listen, stifle.
Very good.
Stick, meathead, you come from a long line of bowling teams. Yeah, I used to love that stuff. Well,
Hmm.
Tom, I want to thank you for being here. Is there anything else you want to tell the people before I stop the recording?
Well, thank you for having me on. You can reach me at tomcomedy@aol.com. On Facebook, I'm Tom Padovano, and Instagram, Tom Comedy 2, the 2.
Yeah, and I'm going to include all the links to your Facebook. And it's Tom, you actually have a website, tomcomedy.com, right?
True 2, yes. Right.
Okay, good. I'll include all that. And
Okay.
thank you from the bottom of my heart. You truly are a comedy legend. And I'll check back in with you if it's okay. Maybe in a couple months we'll do another one and I'll check back in
Sure,
with you.
sure, no problem. I'll wear different socks.
Hey, before I go, I
Yeah.
kind of wondered if you did Zoom meetings, and I saw on Facebook, my God, you were in ones where they have 10, 11 people in them.
Oh, yeah. When I'm not going out to do comedy, I'll do it over Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, he does. You have like, I mean, there must be 50 of them up there.
Oh, there's yeah.
Rock and roll comedy show every last Wednesday, and there were the batch of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done a bunch. Yes. Keeps
And
you.
I bet you people are stealing all your stuff.
You mean my jokes or my property?
Your socks.
Oh no! Hey, I draw the line somewhere. Come on.
Hey, hang tight for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Hang tight though, okay?
Okay.
I'm just gonna stop the recording.
Okay.
Thanks again, Tom. You're the best.
Thank you. Keep in touch.